Hey, welcome. That's where all the chats are. So you see people have got.
Okay.
So if anybody has a problem, they'll put it there. And I told them to let us know if they have any issues.
Okay, and I just tell you when it's something important. Like
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You want to grab a juice?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah. So in? Hi. This is looking good.
It's looking good. Let's hope it doesn't get too good.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have.
It is. She's happy with it. All expenses. All right.
Good evening, everyone. If you could all come in and take your seats, we're going to get started. We want to get you out of here on time. Welcome to Pleasant Grove Church, where Reverend Dr. Classy Preston is the pastor. I'm Reverend Dr. Rose Cornelius, a member of this assembly. Pleasant Grove Church was established in 1865 by slaves and former slaves who originally met under an arbor brush. The year in which they initially gathered was the same year that the Civil War ended. So when they met to worship God, I'm sure they had few resources, but they had strong faith. Many slaves believed in the God of the Bible, who had liberated the Jews from Egyptian bondage thousands of years before them. They thought that if God could liberate the Jews back then, God could do the same for them too. Their strong faith enabled them to carry on. Despite repressive laws, a justice system that was not very just to them, despite redlining, gentrification, segregation, discrimination, over-policing, and continued marginalization, they carried on. I'm so glad they carried on, aren't you? They laid a foundation for us to carry on. And I'm sure that if they could be here with us tonight, they would cheer us on. They would cheer us on because we're here. Black, white, brown, red, and yellow. They would cheer us on because we are old and young. They would cheer us on because we have managed to put aside our differences in faith to work for a common good. They would cheer us on because we have unselfishly looked past our own needs and agendas in order to see to the needs of others. So on behalf of Pleasant Grove Church, past and present, I welcome you into this space. Let us pray. Oh God in heaven, I am just so thrilled to be here with these your people. And God, we come before you and we submit every agenda to you because you are the only wise and true God. Lord, we ask that you be in this place in a pregnant way today, oh God. Lead us, guide us, bless us. Bless us by your presence. Bless us with your anointing. Bless us with your Holy Spirit, oh God. And God, may we accomplish great things that bring you glory and honor. That is my prayer. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Good evening, One Lake. My name is Javier Alvarez Bautista, and I'm one of the co-chairs of your strategy team alongside Dr. Rose Cornelius. It is good to be with you tonight. Whether you are a One Lake veteran or happen to be joining us for the first time tonight, it helps to know our history. Let me look back for just a bit tonight so that we may get a better look of what's coming down the road. Back in 2019, this body convened at State Street Community Church to ratify our first issue agenda. Many of us had been meeting for several years by that point, various small gatherings at churches, mosques, and synagogues, meetings in church basements and multi-purpose rooms and people's living rooms all over Wake County. By that meeting in 2019, we had organized and executed our first listening campaign. We talked to over 3,300 people then, regular folk, members of our institutions, our friends and neighbors, people we had known a long time, people we had barely met. We took our time. We listened to one another because we wanted to build something big. We wanted to build something powerful. We wanted to build something that would withstand the test of time. It is now 2023. Since our public launch in 2020, right in the thick of the worst days of the pandemic, One Wake leaders have won $15 million worth of new public investment to build affordable housing, to compensate displaced residents, and to prevent the further displacement of one-time low-income homeowners. Give yourself a hand again. These campaigns were successful because we listened first and foremost, recognizing the leadership of those most affected by these issues, taking our fight to decision makers with pragmatic resilience and unwavering commitment. Tonight, we intend to launch a new listening campaign, making new allies in the work of our collective liberation, raising up new leadership in our ranks, so that we may act consistently and persistently and effectively into the next phase of our life together. Next year, my friends, will be 2024, a year where much will be at stake, a presidential campaign year, a year when the governorship of North Carolina is set to change hands, A year when plenty of candidates for local office will be elected to make decisions that will have an impact, not just on the people here right now, but for generations to come. What do you want that conversation to look like next year in 2024? Do you want to listen to candidates tell you their priorities, empty promises meant to rile up their base, but with little to no substance? Or do you want to set the agenda that they all have to respond to? My money is on the latter. Now, as we get started tonight, let me be clear, our new campaign won't mean that we will drop our existing commitments. So first, we would like to raise up and celebrate our wins this past year and to discuss what actions we will need to take this spring to ensure that those deals are kept. And I just want to take a moment too to acknowledge that we have some Chatham States residents here whose mobile home park will be sold soon, who will also be affected by the displacement happening all over the county. We thank you for being here with us. We hope you will join us in this work, and we hope to be there to support you as well. Our commitments are going nowhere. We will continue the fight for affordable housing, and we will continue to fight to make sure that the people most affected by the issues we face here and now get their due respect and dignity. Following our list of accomplishments, our time together will move into a training session on listening sessions, how to lead listening sessions effectively. And lastly, we will call a vote to ratify our 2023 budget and our strategy team slate. Stay with us, friends. We've got some good work to do yet ahead, and I am excited for it. And I'm glad to be in this fight with you. I'll now hand things over to Reverend Brickhouse to share with us a bit about our work in Cary.
Good evening, One Way. Good evening, One Way. Take a look around the room. Won't you look around the room? Won't you say these words? We have power. We have power. Say it like you mean it. We have power. We have power. We have power. We have power. We exercised that power as an organization last year as we did some wonderful work in Cary, North Carolina, around Cary affordable housing. Last year, after 10 months of public pressure from One Way, the Cary Town Council approved a historic $9 million investment in a new affordable housing fund. Your members of this organization worked hard for that victory. And One Way won commitments of the support for this fund from the town council candidates by organizing 2 large assemblies in 2021 and 2022 that were attended by a combined 525 Cary residents, as well as a march to the polls in April where we carried signs that read, "I support affordable housing and I vote." And here we are now in 2023, still having to do the same type of work, raising awareness around affordable housing in the Cary community. While we won $9 million in this fund will lead to the creation of new affordable housing, but it takes projects rising up. It takes projects in Cary for that funding to go to, and that's where we want to go next. One example of this recently approved affordable housing development on the town's own land is 921 Southeast Maynard Avenue next to East Cary Middle School. One Way supported this development by delivering 40 members to show support during 2 separate rezoning hearings. And the development at 921 Southeast Maynard will lead to the creation of mixed income, 126 multifamily apartments, 50% of which will be for affordable housing to low-income residents. Now, my note says that we're supposed to applaud that, but I don't want to applaud that because that's not enough.
That's right.
That's nowhere near enough. And in fact, as we look at what's happening in Cary right now with our brothers and sisters who are here from Chapman Square, we know that's not enough. We still have work to do. And so we need this fund to not only be a one-time deal, we need this fund to be renewed over and over and over again. And I believe that we, as One Wake, we have power. Do we have it? Yeah. Do we have it? Yeah. We have power. And so there are institutions in Cary right now who are discerning how to develop affordable housing complexes in our community. My church happens to be one of those discerning right now to figure out how can we use our 3 acres of land to put affordable housing on that, as well as our sister congregation at Greenwood Forest, who are looking into a project to understand how they can use their land to build affordable housing in the Cary community. But guess what? We are going to need you to show up and be with us this upcoming year when it comes time to go before the town council. We're going to need you to ask for not only a one-time $9 million, but we need an additional funding to be added in the budget. And we need to show up for the rezoning council meetings for these projects that are coming up. And when you show up, you let the council know that we have power, right? We have power. There's an election around the corner. There's an election right around the corner, and we need to make sure that our current council members know that we want to make sure that affordable housing is important to the Cary community. And Cary, let us be the example for all other 12 municipalities in Wake County, because we are One Wake, right? And so what we do in Cary, we can do in Raleigh, we can do in Roseville, we can do in Wake Forest, we can do in Fuquay Arena, we can do in Wendell, we can do it all over this county if we show up and support one another in this effort. So tonight, I have a call to action for you. When you get home, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to use the email form from One Wake's website to send the Cary Town Council a note, not only thanking them for their decision to create this fund, but remind them of the support that they need to do for this upcoming budget year. And then not only do it for the town of Cary, we want to do that for the other towns as well, and the cities as well in Wake County, so that we can make a stance in this area around affordable housing, because we do not have enough units. People are being pushed out of their communities. Our seniors are not being able to age in place, and we have work to do. But I don't think we're afraid of work. I think we know the value of hard work because we know we have power. And so I want to introduce our next speaker, Joni Coburn, who will give a report of how we can stand with the Homeowners Care Fund to prevent the displacement of our longtime homeowners. And as she comes, say it one more time. We have power.
We have power. Thank you so much. And good evening to everyone. I'm so happy to hear or see this large attendance here tonight. I come to you representing Rochester Heights as a part of One Wake community and family. And I want to just present to you a little bit of what One Wake has been able to accomplish for our particular area of the county. One Wake is on track to secure $5 million investment from Wake County to help longtime low-income homeowners to stay in their homes. One Wake leaders confirmed that the county is moving forward with the pilot Homeowner Care Fund to address rising housing costs that threaten to displace low-income homeowners. This plan is consistent with the commitment that the county has previously made to One Wake. Every member of the current Raleigh City Council has committed to One Wake to follow the county's lead and to make an equivalent investment. One Wake's homeowner team has begun meeting with Raleigh City Council members to remind them of the commitment. Our impression so far is that we need to apply more pressure on the council to ensure that equivalent funds for the Homeowner Care Fund are included in the 2023-2024 fiscal year budget. Here's the good news. Raleigh City Council is sitting on over $20 million unallocated American Rescue Plan Act funds, COVID dollars, One Wake allies like Habitat for Humanity are calling for these funds to be used for affordable housing. These funds could easily cover an initial investment from the city to address the displacement of longtime homeowners. The timing here is important because properties will soon be reassessed and next year's homeowner taxes will face even higher rises. Our call to action is that we're asking every Raleigh resident in the room tonight and on Livestream to email the city council and to encourage to use funds from the for affordable housing from the American Rescue Act Plans Fund. We have an easy to use email form on the One Wake's website, www.onewake.org. Again, that's www.onewake.org. We're also asking every Raleigh resident here to save the date for an action on Tuesday, April 4th at 7 p.m. at the regular meeting of the Raleigh City Council. Our proposal is to bring at least 100 members to the council meeting where 2 to 3 of us will deliver public comments in support of using the American Rescue Plan Act funds to help keep longtime homeowners in their homes. Again, thanks One Wake for all that we collectively do. We plan to support all of you, and we ask your support for our venture as well. Thank you for your attention.
Good evening, beautiful people. Oh, we might do that one more time. Good evening, beautiful people. My name is Reverend Lisa Yagoa, and I serve on the strategy team for One Wake, and I'm also the pastor of the Southeast Raleigh Table. And Javier shared with us earlier this evening that we will be spending some time talking about listening sessions within our various faith communities. And I want to share that on February 25th, my church community had its listening session. Now, it's not because we were overly ambitious and we wanted to get an A+ in the face of One Wake. It is because we did not read the instructions correctly and thought that we needed to have our listening session done by March 9th, meaning by this evening. So our core team at the Southeast Raleigh Table began in January inviting our community to carve out space on a Saturday to come together in a room to share with one another what are the things that keep them up at night. February 25th wasn't just simply a listening session for our community, which I'm going to tell you about what came out of that time together. It was a gift, it was a blessing, and it was an unearthing. It was a gift, it was a blessing, and it was an unearthing. For the last 8 years, the Southeast Raleigh Table has been looking for a permanent church location. We have basically in many ways been a nomad. And then during shelter in place and during this pandemic, one of the things that I can say that happened to our community is that we had a season of disorientation. While we found ways to be deeply committed to one another as a community, not having those natural rhythms of worshiping together in person truly caused a moment where we needed to ask ourselves, who are we now? And as we have come out on the other side of shelter in place and on this pandemic, we have found ourselves in a new church building. I'm very excited about that, yes. In a new church building and having now had a worship life in that space for 3 months. One of the beautiful things is that within the biblical tradition, whenever people find themselves anchored, that is the time that they begin to ask themselves, what is the vision that is going to launch them in a long obedience? So it felt like the right time, 3 months into our new worshiping life in our new building, to gather our community together and to say, we care about the people in our community. That the decisions that we make as a church community cannot only be about the people who are in the pews, but about our neighbors and their flourishing, that our neighbors can also experience life and life more abundantly. But that first means that we need to sit and hear with one another what are the things that we believe rob people of living lives that they deserve. So on February 25th, we asked that question during our listening session. What are the things that keep you up at night? What are the things that worry you that are happening in Wake County? What are the things that you wish could look a little bit differently? And out of that conversation, I had members of my community who said, I care about workers at Wake Med who have to sleep in the parking deck. I care about the fact that there are about 3 children in my kindergarten class who are living in hotels. I care about the fact that my city is not walkable, that unless you have a car or have access to public transportation, you can't get anywhere. I had members who said, I don't like the fact, and I'm unsettled that there are so many food deserts in Wake County, that people can't access fresh food. We had individuals who talked about the burden of trying to use public transportation and showing up on time for appointments or for work. I had members within my community who said we need more access to childcare because we watch families have to make really hard decisions about if they can keep their employment or if they need to watch their children or who will watch their children. On Sunday mornings, I can stand up at a pulpit and I can look at people and I can think I know their stories. But it was in the listening sessions that I recognized that the people in my community, in my church community, are not only invested in their stories, they're also invested in the stories of others. Recognizing that their flourishing is going to be tied up in other people's flourishing, and the robbing of life is also tied up to them not experiencing life. But I would not have known that unless we had gathered together around pastries on a Saturday morning in a room at the Southeast Raleigh table to hear what matters to people. And I also recognize that those individuals who are sitting in that table recognize that there are going to be other people who will be sitting around tables who will be asking the same question. And that those other people who are going to be sitting around tables asking those same questions, by the way, you are those other people who are going to be sitting around tables asking these questions, that we actually believe that we have power to do something about the things that keep us up at night. That they weren't just coming to a listening session to say a whole lot of things and then to leave those things there, but that we were going to leverage our power together to make Wake County into the county that we know it should be, not the county as it is. The follow-up of our core team at the Southeast Raleigh table is going to look like meeting with individuals who gathered around for that listening session and getting to know them, having relational meetings with individuals within our church community, and continuing to develop relationships with people who are actually in the 1 mile radius around our church, asking our neighbors as well, what are some of the things that keep you up at night, so that we can do this good work, not within the pews, but also beyond the pews. This evening, I know we are going to prepare ourselves to also learn a bit more about how we can hold listening sessions within our communities. And I want to share some of the North Carolina IF organizers who are going to be helping us do that good work. Mary Calvopina, who is the Deputy Director of the North Carolina Congress of Latino Organizations. Ketty Telemack, Lead Organizer of Durham CAN. Hunter Green, Associate Organizer at Durham CAN. Katia Roba, One Wake and North Carolina Congress of Latino Organizations, and then Stephon Whitley, who is with One Wake. And I hope that in our time together as we do this training that you will see yourself as garnering information that might help you to also unleash the people in your communities, that they might stand in the gap between the world as it is and the world as it should be. And I'm going to hand it over to Devin that he can share more information for us.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Thanks so much, and good evening, everybody. My name is Devin Ross, and I'm the lead organizer for One Wake, and it's a real pleasure to look out and see this full room tonight. So thank you all for making time, and thank you for being here. My role tonight is a very brief one. I'm going to give some practical instructions that's going to help us move into the next section of this meeting. You've read the emails coming out about the annual meeting, and I'm sure everybody here reads all of our emails. You know that the purpose of tonight is to really give you some practical training and to equip you with what you need to lead small group conversations like we heard about in Southeast Raleigh table, in your institutions and in your communities. And it's our hope you walk out of here tonight equipped to do that. Reverend Lisa just introduced our colleagues who have joined us from across the triangle to be here tonight. But I wonder if all of the organizers in the room could just raise their hand and wave very briefly so we know who you are. And thank you especially to our colleagues from Durham and the North Carolina Congress of Latino Organizations who have their own organizations to support, but who are here tonight supporting us. In a moment, we're going to get started with the next part of this meeting, which will take place in these small groups. And one organizer or another prepared person will be in your circle to help you through the next stage of our meeting. And I wonder if all the people who just raised their hands could find a seat in one of the circles that we have in the main room and back room. Don't worry, we see you back there too, and we've got a plan for you as well. But for the moment, let's use this as an opportunity to seat all of our prepared facilitators so we know that we've got the right mix. So feel free to my colleagues, feel free to pick a circle and sit. Great, good. If any of our colleagues in the room speak only Spanish, we have a Spanish language circle where we can see Katia there. So if you're only speaking Spanish and don't want to rely on, well, actually, if you only speak Spanish, that's the circle for you. Because we aren't able to do interpretation for all of our circles. Finally, and the first thing that we'll ask you to do as we get started is we'll ask you each to name a note taker. And you may have noticed a clipboard in your circle. If you didn't, don't worry, we're going to come and bring you a form in a moment. With that said, we'll get started. Now we're going to be giving you some time warnings from the front, so we can make sure that we transition into our next agenda item. And one more time, if everybody who's prepared to lead a listening session could just raise their hands so I can see if all of our circles are covered. And yeah, okay, great. And for those of you who don't have somebody raising their hands, to the lay leaders who are in that circle, you may have a feeling I'm about to tap you on the shoulder, and that feeling is correct. So we'll leave it there. To our virtual guests, we're going to do the best we can with our technology to bring you into one of the circles, but our apologies if the audio is a little difficult due to the very full room tonight. All right, we're going to do this until about 8:40 p.m. We're going to transition into ratifying the budget and our strategy team slate, and we'll get you out of here at 9. And take it away, and circles with no hands, I'm coming for you next.
So if there's any part not there, let me know. If I need to hear I am the organizer for Durham. I am first generation United. My parents have
It looks like you're already getting started, which is a great thing.
because you look like a champion. So, the influence of the public, 14,
one of the ways that everybody There you go.
So now I'm
Ari, if I could just briefly interrupt, and this gives everybody a chance to think about that story. I'd love, if possible, to move, could I move this into the center so our people online have a way to view? And this is just for One Wake members who couldn't be here. Thank you.
How many people are alive?
Oh, like 60. I thought it was like 60 people.
60?
57, 60. I don't know how many are now.
45.
Oh, some people left that. I think it was like 15. Something the last time that I saw.
Yeah.
I can share, Mary.
Yeah, please.
I have an assistant at work.
What's your name?
My name is Rose.
Rose, because she's taking notes of that. And what is your institution?
Pardon?
Your institution?
This is my church, Pleasant Grove,
Okay.
but
It's just because she's a
I'm the president of the Morrisville Chamber of Commerce. But my assistant is about 22-year-old young man. So he's graduated from North Carolina State. And his rent is about $1,800 a month. Now, he makes about $40,000 a year. By the time they take out taxes, he makes about 24, 25. Now, divide that by 12 months, and you're paying rent basically, that's all. You're not paying for a car note, you're not paying for food, you're not paying for utilities. That is what a lot of young people, and see, 40,000 is considered a nice salary, but it's not. So affordable housing is his biggest challenge. He said, there's nothing you can rent here for under $1,600 a month. So that's a challenge I have.
Yes.
That's the challenge as an employer. Is will I be able to keep him? He's wanting to go somewhere for more money. So that's the challenge. It not only affects the workers, it's impacting the small employers.
Yes. That's I think that is the story that repeats everywhere at this moment in the triangle. Someone else who would like to share?
My name is Mary Gentry, and I'm a member of the Fountain of Raleigh in Raleigh, North Carolina, under the leadership of Paul L. and Mary Gentry, Gentry. I'm from the Fountain of Raleigh Church in Raleigh, North Carolina, under the leadership of Paul L. Anderson, and I come on behalf of the Fountain of Raleigh Church. The thing that keeps me up at night is the exact same thing that you just mentioned. On the other side of the spectrum is my eldest sister, who's disabled with limited resources. She's worked all of her life, had to retire due to her disability, lack of transportation. I am her transportation, and her closest relative here. She got into a resident apartment complex, and they went up $400 or $500 on her rent, and they kind of coerced her into signing the lease. And they said, either you sign for this amount or you have to do something else. So she's paying $1,700 on limited resources. She's already disabled, and just having to deal with that mentally and emotionally is draining. I saw her today. She is on her last leg. I see it in her face. I see that she's spiritually and emotionally broken. And I have to stand strong for her to keep her built up. I see her about to break. I see what they're doing to her. They drug her from telling her how to pay online to go over here. 6 hours I spent riding with her yesterday to try to pay rent, only to be told that they don't accept that. The online resources at Walmart didn't work. They gave her the wrong barcode. 6 hours. I picked her up at 11 a.m. and I got home here in Cary at 7:30, dropping her off at 6 or 6:30. Just going back and forth. So the low-income housing is something that's certainly needed, and something that I look forward to, but something that can be incorporated now needs to be done. And this is ridiculous. My sister even said it's almost so shameless that it's almost criminal. It's almost criminal. So the other end of the spectrum, not only young people, it's also affecting all people and senior citizens. She's 67 years old.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. So someone else who he said 850 or 840? 840. 840, right? Okay. So I think we have time like for 2 more stories.
One of the things that would be helpful in training is when someone goes too long, can you show us how to
Yes.
politely-
I was going to say that, but I was trying to balance between what is important. So something that probably I missed to say at the beginning, and that is going to be very important for you guys. So you guys don't, the other people don't feel threatened. Some people are more, how to say, delicate. So you can set up front that you can interrupt them on the time. And probably you can put a timer depending on how long you want the meeting to be and how many people you have. And you can give 2 or 3 minutes for each of them to share. And you can put a timer. And as soon as this sounds, so they know that they have to stop, right? Otherwise they keep going. So feel free to say that always up front, so you don't hurt anybody's feelings on all of that. So that is the best way to do it. And don't be. So if you set it up front, it's gonna be much easier when you anticipate that is going to happen, right? So that you can ask, you can make it. Sometimes I do it as a joke, but if someone has the timer that they start clapping when it's 2 minutes or when it's 3 minutes already, have fun with all of that. So you can do it either way, but just if they have clear rules at the beginning. I would like to hear another, maybe two more stories, 2 minutes each.
Well, it started with my daughter. My name is Mitzi. I'm TZ, and I'm with Cary Presbyterian. It started when my daughter was in DC, was trying to buy a house. She was outbid by investors mostly. And it's moving down here. And something that I see that is becoming so prevalent is these investors buying at a rate of $40,000 and pricing it out.
And then turning around and renting them for exorbitant prices.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys, but I receive like at least 5 calls every week that they want to buy my house. I told them once, give me $1 million. That's what I do.
And also, tearing down the modern houses mansions, which we are seeing in the neighborhood of our church. Very distressing.
Thank you so much for sharing. Someone else would like to share?
My story is similar to housing kind of thing. I recently retired from NC State, and I've been doing a lot of volunteer work. Sorry, thank you. Stan, and I'm with Raleigh Mennonite. And so I've been working with Rebuilding Together and Habitat and starting to work with CASA and others. And one of the things I'm seeing is what you were saying, Mary, in terms of we have a lot of retirees. We're aging as a community, and there's an incredible need for folks to be able to age in place, and there's a demand for that. And I know within Mordecai and Oakwood, there's a group that actually has kind of done a co-op to provide services for each other, so for transportation, so that they've got people they can call on for transportation or for healthcare or minor maintenance kinds of things in your homes. I would love to be able to see something like that more broadly, that allows for folks to be able to stay in their homes and have the services that they need. That's something that I think would be perfect kind of service that would go beyond just you got to move into a retirement community or whatever. We do a lot of work with bathroom retrofits so that you convert a bathtub into a shower kind of deal, so folks have interest in that, or grab bars, those kind of things like that.
So this is happening to people that you already know, so there are things for that.
Yeah.
Do you think those people that you know, if that were one of the issues that at the end you all vote for, they will speak up?
There would be some, certainly, but I mean, I was helping build a ramp this morning for a gentleman who is going to be having hip surgery and is disabled at this point. A lot of those folks probably would not want to speak up or public for that, but I'm sure there would be some who probably would.
That is important to have in our notes, because it could be that happens. We know who to talk to, right? So that is very important. Let's see what's on.
My understanding is that there's waiting lists for their services.
There is.
Years.
Yep.
For investigating.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's so sad. Well, I'm gonna stop there because of the time. Of course, you guys will have more time to make everybody talk and take the notes and ask the questions. So make sure that there are people. It's very important the way how you set the example. You see the way how I told the story that was very specific. So help you all to think about something specific. So there are people that start to talk about like generalities and problems and things and don't go anywhere. So feel free to
3 minutes,
ask. If there are stories, there's something specific on a person that you know that is that something like that is happening. What is that story? So feel free to ask all the why questions, why, when, who, where that happened, right? So that is going to be very important. So, well, assuming that everybody finished. So one of the things, of course, we're going to thank everybody for taking the time to be here, for being willing to share. And something that we are going to do after we talk to everybody, so we'll have a lot of issues that we have talked. Who knows, education, house, healthcare of the people. So we want the group to vote for three things that you guys feel that is what you would like to do. So you can explain that we would like to tackle 15 issues, but we don't have the capacity, so we have to be strategic about the things that are more important than this one. So in this case, I think we all talk about the same issues, so we have one, right? Housing. And we have a specific. Huh? Well, I don't live in this community. I live in Orange County.
But it's definitely an issue in Wake County.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was more like the foreigner. Yeah. Well, in this case, we have, well, let's say two issues. So we are going to assume that we all vote and we have two issues. In general, what we have to do is that we have more than three after talking to the group. They have to vote on three of them. You can go one by one and find a way that you come out with three out of all that list that you are going to provide. Okay? Just come up with the three of them, and of course write it in the note taker has to make sure that it's clear stated. So we know what happens. So after that, there is an instruction here where to send that paper. So, it's important. I don't know. It's in there. There is something there about how many people was in this meeting in the group. So at the end, they can count and know how many people they were able to speak to. So just make sure that you have that. I haven't seen the form very well. But make sure you put like.
But if everybody's sharing,
This guy keep talking into this microphone, and eventually we'll all realize that I'm calling us back to order.
thank you.
So I think one last thing, so when you guys decide on those three, just make sure that you share with all the groups so they know, they are clear about why you guys chose those three. So the facilitator will go thank everybody and explain what is going to happen next, which is like that they are going to gather all the information and vote.
Yeah. And just in case we interrupted your group before your conversations came to a natural conclusion, you've just experienced kind of you've gotten a taste or a flavor of what it's like to both be in a listening session and hopefully what it will be like to lead a listening session yourself in your institution between now and June 8th. But just in case we interrupted you before the end, normally this listening session would conclude by everybody in your group voting or agreeing on what the three main themes seem to be. The three things that kind of connect the concerns, and Alicia, we got it over here. It may be that you have a little trouble with this, but it's going to be very important for us to not only have the specific notes from your each concern, each story here, but also this kind of general, themes part, because your notes will be looked at by people who probably weren't in your conversation, and that helps us understand, where the weight is in the conversation and what to really pay attention to. So you'd vote on your three themes. You would then leave, and the note taker and the facilitator would then be asked to just be sure to get that note form in to One Way so we can start to compile the results of our listening sessions. It's time for us to shift gears once again. Whenever you hear this nasally voice, that usually means we're about to ask you to do something. And what we're gonna ask you to do now is to go into breakout groups, ideally by institution. I'm going to, in a moment, but not right now, ask everybody to stand if you're not with people from your institution, and see if you can get a little closer. But of course, we've got a packed house here, and it may not be, this may take us a couple of minutes to resettle. But the reason why we want you to do this is because we're going to ask you to do 3 things once you get settled with members from your institution, and I'd be glad to hand the mic over to Father Javier to let us know what those 3 things are.
This is always my favorite part, more chaos, So before we disperse to try to find the people from our particular institutions, there are 3 questions that you'll be asked to answer. And you'll have an opportunity to caucus with your institution, and then we'll report back to the larger group by sending a representative forward to report back on these 3 questions from your institution. So, first question, a rough number, a pledge amount for how many people you hope to engage in your listening sessions. If you're a small institution, we usually recommend about 50 people. Medium size, about 100 people. Larger institution, about 200. But again, caucus with your team and your group and think about what's feasible so that we can get a rough count of what we hope to, how many people we hope to engage. So that's the first question, your pledge number for the listening sessions. Second question is an up-down vote on the slate for the strategy team. So either a yes or a no to the slate from the strategy team, which you should have in a printout or it's available on the One Week website as well. And then third question is another up-down vote, so either yes or no on the 2023 One Week budget. Which you should have received in advance of this meeting, so it should be in your email, should be available for you. So let me repeat the 3 questions again before we descend into mass chaos. First of all, pledge number for the listening sessions. Second, up and down vote on the strategy team slate. And third, up and down vote on the budget. And before you disperse, when you get together, be sure to assign someone to be the note taker. Be sure to assign someone to be the note taker. And then we'll come back together in the last few minutes to report back. So go for it.
Maybe in 3 minutes. We want to give them time to talk, but not enough time to leave. I guess that's on the budget. Early on, we talked about So, we don't have government. Government foundation. Just so long as it's general operating support, the foundation isn't setting priorities, but they're you really don't, because those foundation people. Well, they do. We do it the other way. We tell them what our agenda is and we ask for support. Similar to the electric. Here's the big one. There's some small guys in there, right? They didn't know your story. These guys are very well set. We actually got some good ones because they do some upstream public health related where they
The one that I would be a little bit more concerned about is in terms of some of the issues.
they actually want us to help people have a place to help out with federal programs. It's right across.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome to my team.
I was trying to.
Hello, there we are. Calling everyone back together. Please take a seat if you can and wrap up your conversation. All right. Wrapping up the conversation, trying to get you out of here on time. Please take a seat if you can, or stand around the room. Now that we've had the opportunity to caucus, all right. Now that we've had the opportunity to caucus, I still love the chaos in this room. Now that we've had the opportunity to caucus, we're going to ask one representative from each institution. One representative from each institution to come to the front, line up next to me to report back. So one representative from each institution. To me, right over here. All right. Here we go. And as a reminder, the three questions we're gonna fly through this to get you out of here on time. Each person lined up here, what you'll have to say is, say the name of your institution, the number you're pledging for the listening campaign, and an up and down vote, yes or no on the budget and the slate. And I bet we can do this in 5 to 8 minutes with everyone here. So we'll get started.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jacques Cottrell from Carry First Christian Church. We are pledging to have 15 people at our listening session. We vote yes on the strategy team, and we vote yes on the budget. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Flynn from Christ the King Lutheran Church in Cary. We're going to create listening sessions for 300 people. We're going to do that, including a joint listening session with our friends here at Perry First Christian. So we're doing that next month. As far as the strategy team goes, we're in favor of that. We vote up. However, we do, and nothing is ever up or down, you know. So we do note that there are no non-Christians on that list, and it's heavy in the clergy area. So we would like to make sure that we move toward a more interfaith representation of clergy and lay members. And we do vote for the budget.
I'm Alex Lane with Southeast Raleigh Table, and we can commit to 50 people for a listening session over the next several months, as well as yes on the slate and yes on the budget.
Sam Martin, Raleigh Night Church, and I'm also here representing Church of Good Shepherd Episcopal downtown as well. And together we're going to commit to 70 listening sessions and voting up on both the slate and the budget.
Good evening, I'm Tim Carr with Greenwood Forest Baptist Church here in Cary, and we are committing to pledge 250 people in our listening session, and we voted yes to both the strategy and the budget.
Carla Diener with St. Francis CMC in Cary. We're going to engage 50 people in listening sessions, and we vote thumbs up on the slate and the budget. Thank you.
Roger Adama from Raleigh Vineyard. We're committing to 30 people at our listening sessions, and yes on both the slate and the budget. Thank you.
I'm Linda Melto from Good Shepherd UCC in Cary. We commit to 50 people in the listening sessions, hopefully more, but commit to 50, and thumbs up on the budget and the slate.
My name is Carmen Ballard. I'm from Covenant Christian Church in Cary. We're pledging to reach 30 people at our listening sessions, and we vote yes to the slate and budget.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Wilson from Ecclesia Raleigh, and we are pledging 30 people at listening session, and yes on slate and yes on budget.
Hi, I'm Mary Margaret Eckhart from Macedonia UMC in Cary. We're pledging 50 people to a listening session and yes on both issues.
Hi, I'm Jody Coburn reporting for Rochester Heights and St. Ambrose. We're pledging 50 for an initial listening session, and we also vote yes on the slate and on the budget. And for the NC State Wolfpack tonight.
Amy Signs, West Raleigh Presbyterian, 50 people, yes, yes.
Mary Pitts from St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Cary. We pledge to deliver 120 people in listening sessions, and we are thumbs up on both questions.
My name is Michelle Vanstein from White Plains United Methodist Church, and I am pledging 30 people, and yes and yes.
Chris Olson, Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh. We're pledging 100 people to the listening sessions, and yes to the slate and yes to the budget.
Good evening, everyone. Andre Anthony with Dorcas Ministries, 100 people. We've already done about 50 to 75 already, and yes, although Karen and I are saying, who's gonna come up here and say no? So yes and yes.
Karen's gonna do it.
Good evening and welcome again. I'm Karen Moran, member here of Pleasant Grove Church here on Davis Drive, where miracles are still being performed. Amen. We are pledging to engage 50 of our disciples into a listening circle, and we are in support of the slate and the budget. So that is a yes and a yes, not a no tonight.
Good evening, I'm April Wilburn on behalf of Baptist Group Church. We have pledged to engage 50 people in a listening session, but we are also working in conjunction with our friends at St. Francis and the CC Church, and we are hoping to engage 200 people at that listening session. And we do vote yes for the budget and also to the strategy team.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Dilcher with the Catholic Community of St. Francis of Assisi, and we are excited to pledge 200 listening sessions. We are hosting our mixed session with Baptist Grove next Thursday on the 16th, and already have close to 75 attendees registered, and we vote yes for both the budget and the slate. Thank you.
I'm Alan Bancroft from Cary Presbyterian Church. We're going to pledge 50 people over our listening sessions, and we say yes to the budget and yes to the slate.
Good evening. I'm James Grant, and with Friendship Chapel Baptist Church, and we're pledging 100 for our listening session. And question number 2, yes. Question number 3, yes.
Good evening. My name is Royce Tadcock. I'm from Raleigh, Chop Street Church of the Nazarene. We are going to do 50 people, and I have to keep up with Karen Moran. And we say yes to, well, we thought about it. Yeah, yes and yes.
Hi, I'm Elisa Walter with Temple Bethor, and we will pledge 30, but maybe aim higher and support both proposals. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lupita Garcia, and I live in Shannon Estates. So we are gonna pledge 50 people. I think we can get more because we just figured out, or we just received the news that we might have to move from where we live. So we are gonna need all your help and support. So yes.
Hi, my name is Sandra. La Asociación de las Américas se compromete para organizar 30 personas y más. Gracias.
Las Americas Failure Park is committed to talk to 30 people, and they say yes and yes to both of the questions, and they might talk to more people than that.
What's our count back there?
We have a total of 2,085.
We have a total of 2,085 people to engage in our listening campaign. Let's get to it, people. All right, I only kept you a couple minutes over, so how about I close us with a prayer? So let us pray. God, we give you thanks for this day. We give you thanks for the opportunity to gather. We give you thanks for your presence among us, within us, through us, and among the people we have yet to meet. Give us the grace, power, and persistence to do the good work you have given us to do, to go out and make this county one. This we ask in your blessed name. Amen. Amen. Go in peace and go in power. It's difficult to be like, some of it, not attention because we work in public service, so you're like, well, we're doing stuff, you know, but you also hear the arts. Like,
Sorry to interrupt. Oh. Oh, okay.